Good morning, everyone. I think, in spite of the inclement weather, we have quite a few people in the audience. Members on the dais: Dr. Kadirwali, Madam Dr. Datta Rai, Mr. R.K. Sinha, Mr. Dhara, Dr. Dhara, and members from the press as well as the members of the Engineering Welfare Forum. I am here not as a person of eminence of any form in the sector, which I think you are all looking forward to hear from. But I have very fond memories of working from this area, and I come to you before as a consumer. In fact, my interest in millet started somewhere around 2006 when I was posted briefly for a month in a very backward taluka of Karnataka. And it's called Devadurga. It is very close to the power plant of the NTPC, which is there at Raichur. Thank you. And so I was there for a month, and the general people consume millets. Well, I also ate millets. I didn't insist on asking for rice. Believe me, actually, in fact, it's very interesting, the story behind rice itself. Rice was not a popular grain which was grown. But very surprisingly, our colonial masters felt that rice has certain advantages in terms of, bringing in uniformity in terms of consumption, in terms of, ensuring people remain dependent on a supply chain, and so on and so forth. So we had, if we did consume millets, which were more or less pretty hardy and meant for people in the particular area, and probably we wouldn't have so many famines as some of the scientists have pointed out. I think this is a point on which probably someone else will definitely speak on. So we got onto this rice bandwagon. Then we realized later on in life probably that, we have these issues related to to the sugar spike or the glucose spikes as they call them, and now we realize that if we need a much slow release carbohydrates in our system rather than eating rice. So that comes because actually because of our lifestyle, because of the changes in our working atmosphere and so on and so forth, the stress and the modern lifestyle which we lead has impacted all of us, and in fact it's made a huge difference in at least bringing down the productivity of people in some places, especially after 50. So now again, thanks to Dr. Kadirwali, whom I first heard 2 years back, just after COVID. He had come to Balgan Circular Road, and in that Goenka this thing we had an interaction, and there were certain items which were prepared also from millets. Because actually what happens is, at the end of the day, the spouse at home has to do the work on millets, and however much you insist, you are defeated if your spouse isn't on the same bandwagon as you are. So luckily she also interacted with Dr. Kadirwali, and everyone were very impressed with the idea about eating millets, and incidentally she was also pre-diabetic also. So we switched over to millets. I come from an area called Rayalaseema in Andhra Pradesh, where millets were the grain once upon a time. But the very pejoratively they used to call millets coarse grains and rice as fine grains and so on and so forth. So that distinction was automatically created. So people who used to in fact eat millets aspire to eat rice later on in life, and again get into trouble because of that. So I'm very glad that I'm with all of you today. And I'm all ears to listen to the eminent scientists and technologists in the area of food science, especially Dr. Kadirwali, who will talk about his own journey and why we need to have more millets. It's extremely informative and definitely a great way to change to a new lifestyle. Thank you.